Welcome, recruits. Grab a seat. I'm your lead instructor, and today we are walking through the rigorous, zero-tolerance world of digital forensics in this crucial explainer. Look, if you're going to secure a digital crime scene and actually make the charges stick, you need to know exactly what you're doing. A single wrong move out there, and I mean literally one wrong click, and your entire case goes up in smoke.
Okay, here's our briefing agenda. We are covering 1. Building your forensic lab. 2. First response golden rules. 3. Processing the crime scene. 4. Imaging and analyzing data. And 5. Reports and courtroom testimony.
Section 1. Building your forensic lab, the foundation of admissible evidence.
We start right here with the foundation, because trust me, a defense attorney will completely tear your case to pieces if your laboratory isn't up to standard. The badge you wear gives you the authority to seize a computer, sure, but it absolutely does not make that data admissible in court. A standard police laptop sitting on a break room desk just won't cut it. You need these 4 unassailable pillars. First, a multidisciplinary team. You need evidence custodians to guard the hardware, forensic analysts, and legal advisors to make sure we don't accidentally violate constitutional rights. Second, you need specialized hardware and software. Third is mandatory validation. That means testing your forensic tools against known data sets so they don't fail you on the stand. And fourth, relentless quality assurance through strict standard operating procedures and peer reviews.
But before we hit the field, let me throw a pop quiz at you. This is a mistake that ruins more cases than I can even count. What happens if you seize a suspect's drive and just plug it directly into your standard office computer, just to take a quick look?
Well, if you just plug it in, you alter the metadata instantly. Game over. The defense wins. Just opening a folder changes the file timestamps. That's exactly why we absolutely mandate write blockers. A write blocker sits between the evidence and your analysis machine to strictly prevent even a single byte of data from being modified. It's the only way to keep our evidence mathematically pristine.
Let's move on to Section 2, First Response Golden Rules, Securing the Critical Window. This is it. You're in the field, and this is the critical window where evidence is at its absolute most vulnerable. If patrol officers or IT admins arrive on the scene before you do, drill this absolute mandate into their heads. Do not touch it. Seriously, clicking around on screens during a crime scene search just to see what the suspect was up to is a total disaster. It can overwrite highly volatile evidence in a matter of seconds.
And keep in mind, your tactics have to adapt to the specific platform immediately. Dealing with a social media crime, you need to identify exact URLs, preserve public content, and capture live metadata before the suspect realizes what's happening and deletes the account. Email hack? Secure those server logs, grab session tokens, and capture the IP login histories. And for crimes actually committed via email, you absolutely must preserve the raw text headers. Think of raw headers like a digital postmark on an envelope. They map out the exact transit routing IPs so we know precisely where that message originated.
Section 3. Processing the crime scene. Document, assess, seize.
Okay, now you're physically standing inside the crime scene. Precision here is completely non-negotiable. Step 1, secure the scene. Step 2, photograph and sketch the layouts. Never touch a power button before you photograph the exact cable configurations, because I promise you, a good defense attorney will claim someone else snuck in and plugged a rogue device into that machine. Then, assess the device power states, and finally, carefully seize and package the hardware in anti-static bags to prevent any electrical damage to the drives.
Now, pay really close attention here, recruits, because there is a massive difference in how you handle a computer based solely on whether the screen is glowing or completely dark. If the system is powered on, do not, I repeat, do not just yank the power cord. You need to extract the volatile RAM data first to save any running processes, handle open files, and then perform a controlled OS shutdown. But if the computer is already powered off, leave it completely off. Unplug the power cord directly from the back of the machine so it can't be remotely booted, and isolate it from the network immediately.
Now let's talk about smartphones. These are a ticking clock. If you leave a suspect's phone connected to cellular networks or Wi-Fi, an accomplice can easily send a remote wipe command, and poof, your entire case just evaporates. You must isolate mobile devices instantly. Use a Faraday bag to block all incoming and outgoing signals. This ensures you capture the volatile data without triggering those remote wipes.
And the paperwork? Oh, the paperwork. Every single person who touches that evidence must be documented on the chain of custody form. If you miss a signature, the defense will suppress all your hard work.
You label the items with unique exhibit numbering, seal them up in tamper-evident packaging, and meticulously track every single transfer with sign-in and sign-out sheets before it goes into a logged evidence locker. Remember, an unbroken chain of custody is literally the only ticket your evidence gets into a courtroom.
Moving on to Section 4, Imaging and Analyzing Data, Extracting the Truth.
Once the evidence is safely locked away in a climate-controlled lab, the real technical work begins. Rule number 1 of the lab: you never, ever risk altering the original seized drive. Instead, you must duplicate the data by creating an exact sector-by-sector clone. We call this a bitstream forensic image. All of your analysis is done on that clone, never the original.
So how do we actually prove to a judge that the clone is an exact match? We use cryptographic hashes, specifically MD5 or SHA-256 algorithms. Think of these hashes as digital fingerprints. If you calculate the hash value of the original drive before imaging, and then calculate the hash of your bitstream image afterwards, and they match perfectly, boom. That proves mathematically that your duplicate is completely unadulterated.
You also have to remember that smart criminals don't keep all their secrets on one single laptop. They rely heavily on external infrastructure. So get ready to issue legal demands. You're going to need to subpoena tech and social media companies for subscriber IP logs. You'll hit up telecom operators for call detail records and IP data records. You'll need financial institutions for KYC forms and ATM video, and online service providers for web host traces. It's a massive, coordinated web of outreach to trace their digital footprints.
Finally, Section 5, Reports and Courtroom Testimony, the final proving ground.
We are now entering the final stage. And frankly, all your technical genius in the lab means absolutely nothing if you can't clearly explain it to a judge. As your investigation wraps up, you'll progress from the initial first information report to an interim challan, and finally to the complete challan. Think of that interim challan like a legal bookmark. It keeps the legal clock ticking and keeps the suspect in the system while your lab takes the time it needs to process complex data. Once everything is analyzed, you submit the complete charge sheet.
When you write that formal forensic report, it must be completely devoid of speculation. Remember, the judge isn't a computer scientist. Your report has to include a clear executive summary for non-technical readers. You need to list the precise details of the examined items, the exact validated forensic tools you used, a strict step-by-step timeline of your analysis, and concrete objective conclusions. Facts only.
And when you finally take the stand as an expert witness, remember this quote: "Your duty is not to win a conviction. Your job is to act as a translator. You take complex hexadecimal strings and dense network packets, and you translate them into plain, simple language for the court. You are an impartial advocate for the evidence itself. If a lawyer asks a question and you don't know the answer, just say so. Never, ever guess."
The digital world is incredibly fragile, recruits, so I'll leave you with this final question as you prepare to head out into the field. Are you disciplined enough to protect the truth from disappearing? Remember, a single wrong click can destroy volatile data, and a single missed signature can break the chain of custody. Keep everything we've covered in this explainer in mind, stay sharp out there, and go secure the scene. Class dismissed.